Hey everyone, and welcome. The movie we're going to be talking about today is Mortal Kombat. Fun fact, the first Mortal Kombat game came out in 1992. This movie came out in 2021 and stars Louis Tan, Jessica McNamee, and Josh Lawson, and was directed by Simon McQuoid. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Mortal Kombat tells of how Earthrealm is on the verge of catastrophe. Should it lose one more tournament, the Savage Realm outer world will invade. But a prophecy states that a new set of champions for Earth will be united by the rise of Hanzo Hatashi's blood. These new champions must train and fight in Mortal Kombat to ensure Earth's survival. This cast has some familiar faces that you may have seen before. Louis Tan was in Deadpool 2. Jessica McNamee was in The Meg. Tadanobu Asano was in Thor. Makad Brooks was in Supergirl. Ludi Lin was in Power Rangers. And Hiroyuki Sanada was in Avengers Endgame. This movie is for people who like action movies. It mixes the martial arts and the supernatural and throws in a whole bunch of blood as well. This movie started off with a bang and set up the movie for us. I love how this story is born from the rivalry of Scorpion and Sub-Zero. I know the goal was to kill Earthrealm's champions so that there wouldn't be any left to defend Earth in Mortal Kombat, but I was wondering if that was Sub-Zero's plan going into him murdering Hanzo's family. In the beginning of the film, we see him do this, but it seems like Hanzo and Sub Zero know each other, and it seems like they might have had a prior connection. So I was wondering if there was like a deeper seated rivalry between the two that goes further than like the Mortal Kombat tournament. I thought it would have been interesting to explore this a little bit more throughout the film. If there was some type of connection and figuring out kind of like what happened. Why did Sub Zero go bad? Why did Sub Zero decide to kill Scorpion? It seemed like there was just a little bit more than like the surface layer of, him wanting to kill him because of like the whole Mortal Kombat situation. I did love that they showed the rivalry between Scorpion and Sub Zero. It's such an intense rivalry, and I'm glad that we got to see it on screen, considering it's one of the big rivalries from the video game. I hope that we get to see them again and they get to fight it out again. I'm glad that they kept the movie as violent as the video game. In the video game, the fatalities were just crazy and bloody, and I'm glad that they kept that aspect because it's a part of the reason why Mortal Kombat is such a well-known game because of the violence and the blood. And so it was cool to see that on screen. It was cool that they included some of the lines from the video game as well. Mortal Kombat also has some really iconic little sayings that they say throughout the game, and it was cool that the movie paid homage to the video game by including these. I love how they introduced some of the characters that are from Mortal Kombat, but not all of them. There are a lot of characters that come up in the Mortal Kombat, but they chose to, add some iconic ones in this film, but not add all of the iconic ones, which I think is cool because then they, if they have future movies, if they can set it up for future movies. So I thought it was cool how they, gave us some of the characters, but not all of them. So I hope that, that there is a future movie maybe so we can see some other characters that are loved in the video game come to life on screen. I thought it was great how all the abilities weren't just given to them in the film. The film showed how just because you had the mark doesn't mean that you got the ability. The ability itself was earned through hard work, and each person's ability was unique. I was wondering why they insisted on adding Cole Young to this movie, considering that they have an extensive list of characters to choose from. I feel like the character itself didn't really add much to the film, and they definitely could have chose another character in the Mortal Kombat lineup to add to this film instead. Josh Lawson as Kano was one of the better parts of this movie. I thought that he did a great job portraying Kano as like this very unlikable character and kind of an asshole. And I thought that he really made the viewer hate the character, but also wanted us to see what was going to happen with the character. I thought that Goro was a cool addition to this story, but I did think that his CGI looked bad. I thought that they needed a little bit more time to perfect this because I knew that Goro was going to be CGI, but the character looked too fake, in this movie compared to all the other CGI, which wasn't as bad. But yeah, the Goro itself, I was like, cool addition to the movie, but just a little bit more work on him. Throughout the film, I was waiting for a final showdown between Sonya Blade and Kano. There was so much tension between them throughout the whole movie, and I knew that they hated each other. And when the moment came for them to fight one on one, I was so excited because I knew that that was going to be a good battle because they already hated each other. And I knew that Kano had taunted her about not being able to kill someone, but I knew that this time in the final battle, that Sonya Blade was going to kick his ass. I liked Sonya Blade in this movie, and I thought that Jessica McNamee did a great job with the character. I like how the character didn't have the marking in the beginning of the film, and when they went off to do the training, even though she wasn't allowed to train with them because of the lack of the marking, she still stayed with them and really helped for like moral support and making sure that everyone, was in their best shape to go and fight this evil little band from Outer World. I was confused on when they started Mortal Kombat. Why was Sonya allowed to fight? They made it a clear point throughout the movie that she was unable to fight with them because she didn't have the marking. But when the competition actually started, they decided to let her fight without any question. It was just really confusing on why they decided to focus so much on her not being able to fight because she didn't have the marking to eventually just letting her fight in the tournament, and no one, even mentioning that that was a thing beforehand. I thought it was funny how they just followed Liu Kang in the desert. Like this man just came out of nowhere and they just decided to accept what he was saying was true and just follow him, which I thought was funny but also kind of weird. Stranger danger is a real thing. It was confusing on when Mortal Kombat actually started. In the film, Raiden stated that Shang Tsung couldn't claim victory because Mortal Kombat hadn't actually started. But then later on in the film, we see Earth claim victory, but it was never announced that Mortal Kombat had actually started. Like, yeah, there were fights going on, but there were fights going on before that as well. And they never actually stated that Mortal Kombat had begun. So I thought that it would have been a cool thing to add into the film that Mortal Kombat had begun. So, the viewer understood that the tournament had started because we were just kind of like assuming that, that they were just doing fights. And so I thought it would have been good to add that because, we need to know what's going on as well, not just like the character just assuming that Mortal Kombat has started. My favorite part of the film is the scorpion reveal at the end of the film. Scorpion is such a big part of the movie, and we knew that in the beginning of the movie, the whole situation with Hanzo was going to come back and he was going to be Scorpion, but we just didn't know when. They hinted him throughout the film, and then he showed up and he was all suited up in his outfit, and it was dope to hear him say, "Get over here," like he does in the video game. I love how they also included his use of fire, which is something that we've seen him do in the games, and I'm glad that we got to see that on screen. So I was really happy with the whole Scorpion portrayal, and I thought his outfit was cool. I thought his little like I don't know what it's called, his little like dagger that has like a chain and he like pulls it. I thought that was all cool. So I'm glad that we got to see Scorpion on screen, and that part did not disappoint for me. Mortal Kombat was a decent action movie. And while, yes, it had its flaws, it wasn't that bad of a movie. I think that they did a good job adapting this movie, and I think that they were trying to lay the foundation and definitely hinted at future movies, considering at the end of the movie, we see the name Johnny Cage, which anybody who has seen anything in regards to Mortal Kombat know that that's a really popular character, and they definitely were hinting that he may be in a future Mortal Kombat movie. I think that if you haven't seen Mortal Kombat, I suggest that you watch it. Thank you for watching. I would love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. If you have not subscribed, please do so you can keep up to date with more of my videos. But besides that, everyone stay safe, have fun, and goodbye.